Welcome. Welcome to this family conference of Australian Pompe Association. I know that these are very uncertain times, and during these times, while physical meetings are out of question, but I think it's a great way to connect with families, with friends, and all of us together on the virtual platform. I think it's an opportunity also for those people, including me, who probably may have found moving a little bit difficult for the meeting to actually adjust, as well as some of you who may find for locational reasons or the physical well-being. So I think virtual is a good solution as it appears today in these times. Let me at the outset take this opportunity to thank Raymond for his very warm and kind invitation to open this meeting. Raymond and I have been associated over several years. And of course, his association with Sanofi Genzyme goes much, much beyond that. And all I can say is I've always been so much inspired every time we met in person, or even when we just exchanged an email, the passion, the commitment that he exhibits together with Australian Pompe Association is absolutely top class and very inspirational in itself. I was just reflecting, it was about 14 years back that I joined Sanofi Genzyme. And I joined really inspired by the patient stories that I heard that emanated from the transformational treatments that Sanofi Genzyme brought forth. And at the core of it, I found there were two pillars, patients on one side and science on the other. So inspired by patients and fueled by science is probably how I would term our journey as an organization. I also would like to just mention that when I joined this organization and I joined in India as the first employee, I found that even before that time, there were already patients in India who were receiving humanitarian program assistance by way of treatments for Gaucher disease. And that further proved to me that I think we are on the path to help patients wherever we can and to the best abilities we can. Simultaneously, as I look at the origins of Australian Pompe Association, started in 1997, just 4 people. Today, there are more than 65 members. It's also got associated with the New Zealand very actively. And I know that some of our delegates from New Zealand are also attending this virtual conference. The best part has been that Sanofi Genzyme and APA have been together over last many decades now. And this association has really helped us on one side to understand and get insights about what the patients and the families go through, as also given us a chance to support in whichever way we can the efforts to creating a sustainable environment for reimbursement. I realized that it was almost a battle of more than 10 years and multiple submissions that finally Australian Pompe Association was able to get the reimbursement for the Pompe treatment. And it has been a long journey. And during that journey, I realized that the core role of this group never changed. It continued to provide the help to everyone. It continued to provide support, assistance, knowledge, as well as the resources for the families impacted by Pompe disease. So I believe that this is something which we as an organization, we cherish and we get all the time inspired by and engaged by. During this time of COVID, I think we have also, together with Australian Pompe Association, been able to realize some of those gaps and some of those needs that have emerged because of the COVID and the peculiar situation it has caused. And I am happy to say that our teams have been working very closely to fill those gaps to the best ability so that the patients in Australia or New Zealand can continue to get consistently the treatment in time and in the right way possible. I mean, we have all seen those lockdowns which have often surrounded the system. Our focus on science and patients enables us to do so. And let me just also give you a little backdrop about our organization. An organization today which is seen as the pioneer and the leader in rare diseases. Because way back in 1991, when rare diseases were unheard of and the research behind them was unheard of, there was a company which thought differently and said every life was important and you could not discriminate between lives and diseases just on the basis of how many patients suffer from that. And thankfully, that is how the whole journey has begun in the world to look at rare diseases. And we really feel fortunate to be in that leading position and a pioneer position as a company. Our endeavor has been continuously that it's not enough to get the product or to discover the product or to discover the therapy. I think it's equally important as how do you make it available across the world? And this is a very rare time, actually, when we are celebrating 30 years of our humanitarian program. Our humanitarian program that has been absolutely agnostic of where the patients are and what the healthcare system is. And what we try to do is, to the best of our ability, provide both the treatment and the treatment support free of charge to the patients. And I'm happy to say that thousands of patients have benefited from that program over the last 30 years. And this year is a good time when we are really celebrating or commemorating the rare humanitarian program. I know Alison has been a kind member and has featured in some of our global communications. I also believe that Campbell is on the line, and Campbell, of course, had a great session with our Australia and New Zealand team most recently. And I was really happy to note one thing which we share in common, which is, of course, cricket. I think from the legacy of the British era, that's a common area. We are also not settling for the treatments that we brought today. There are, even though we were the pioneers to bring treatments in diseases like Gaucher disease, Fabry disease, Pompe disease, the reality is we are already working and ahead with a newer generation products in these therapies, just underlining it's not important to find a solution, but it's always important and more important to continuously find better options if they help the patients and if they help the families and the stakeholders. I know that we are a dedicated public affairs team and market access team, which are trying to ensure that the patient voice and early engagement with patients is included in all the areas of treatment development. Because I think knowing what a personal journey has been of a patient really gives us those insights, not just for commercialization of the product, but actually of designing the product itself from the beginning at the R&D levels, what I call as co-creation. And you will see our existing bonds with Australian Pompe Association and other associations which have got fostered because of the great work that APA has done, will help us continuously for early engagements to collect that data points to help design the drugs even better. Also reflecting on our heritage at Sanofi Genzyme. I mean, the fact that it's last 30 years or more, we've been working very closely with the patient organizations and the rare disease community. And that has been so beneficial for us to give insights. And during the COVID, that again came to our fore because we realized that what would be the best way, knowing that due to blockades, etc., movements are not easy, going to the hospitals is not easy, and we tried to work out whether we can do the home infusions. While we were not fully successful in that, but I think one thing leads to another, and we realized that there was another way to still help the patients in Australia, and which we want to also extend to New Zealand. And this is about the patient care program, and you will hear more about the Care for Rare Pompe patient program from our Pompe program coordinator later on. But what it really involves is having a nurse who can really help the patients in these times. And this facility is available to all. In the end, all I would like to say is that this has been a great journey as an organization for us, and also personally for me, to be associated at least over the last more than a decade with APA, with Raymond, and to see how, if we work together, we can really bring much more success and better outcomes for everyone. I know that there are also some new patients who are joining in first time to the family conference, and my warm welcome to them as well. I wish the conference great success. There are some great programs, great sessions. I'm sure everyone will be fully engaged and they will really benefit from that. Thank you once again. Thank you, Raymond. And really thanks for our great association with APA over the years.